The real object of the First Amendment was to exclude all rivalry among Christian sects, prohibits an establishment of a particular form of Christianity. The Christian religion is the established religion. All sects and denominations of Christians are placed upon the same equal footing. No particular sect or society of Christians ought to be favored or established by law in preference to others. Should not the Bible regain the place it once held as a school book?
This is what John Quincy Adams said, quote, "The highest, the transcendent glory of the American Revolution was this, that it connected in one indissoluble bond the principles of civil government and the precepts of Christianity." What about the wall of separation between the church and the state? That's not found anywhere in the Constitution.
So if you go back to this old copy of the Annals of Congress,
Debating the First Amendment. How many times?
How many times
Did they say separation of church and state? 0. So who said it? Thomas Jefferson.
in one letter?
Not in the Constitution.
In any law.
No official government document.
It was a letter from Thomas Jefferson to Danbury Baptists, reassuring them of religious liberty.
2 days later, went to church. Went to church at the Capitol.
So then they'll go to the First Amendment, which has two parts of the First Amendment which get conflated. First of all, separation of church and state is not in the U.S. Constitution. That is a single letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1807 to the Danbury Baptist Convention in Massachusetts, assuring them that the government would not come after the church, okay, which is the opposite of what they would say. However, that was then resurrected by the Warren Court and the Burger Court in the 60s, where they said, hey, you know, all of a sudden, we're now going to make this as if it's the Constitution.
Thomas Jefferson's letter
It's largely ignored in the courts.
Only quoted 7 times in 150 years.
Then, in a bad court decision,
They quoted it out of context.
After that, they quoted it
3,500 times.
Out of context. Did Thomas Jefferson have anything to do with?
writing the Constitution.
No.
He wasn't even there.
Not even 4.
The Bill of Rights.
Thomas Jefferson corrected one biographer, saying,
"One passage in the paper you enclosed me must be corrected. It is the following, and all say it was yourself more than any other individual that planned and established it."
referring to the Constitution.
He made it even more clear by saying,
"I was in Europe when the Constitution was planned and never saw it till after it was established."
What they were most worried about was a Presbyterian or a Anglican or a Quaker type religion taking over the federal government. Instead, it was that there is not going to be a state-run religion. Did you know that one of the first acts of Congress was taxpayer-funded Bible printing and distribution? Did you know that there were church services held in the Supreme Court building as late as the Jackson presidency in the 1820s?
We're not to elevate one Christian denomination over another. That is clearly the context. Not only did our judiciary affirm our Christian foundation, but they also encouraged government support of the Christian faith. First of all, the case of Runkle versus Weinmiller in 1799. In that case, the Supreme Court of Maryland said in its decision, quote, "By our form of government, the Christian religion is the established religion." Now stop there and think about that. This is 7 years, just 7 years, after the First Amendment that says Congress shall make no law regarding the establishment of religion. Were these judges ignorant of the First Amendment? Of course they weren't. They understood the First Amendment better than you do, better than I do, and certainly better than some liberal judge does today. But look at the second phrase, "And all sects and denominations of Christians are placed upon the same equal footing and are equally entitled to protection in their religious liberty." The Supreme Court in 1892 reached back to a prior court ruling in New York to substantiate their view. And listen to what they quoted and affirmed in this Supreme Court decision. They said, quote, Nor are we bound by any expressions in the Constitution, as some have strangely supposed, either not to punish at all or to punish indiscriminately the like attacks upon the religion of Mahomet, that is Islam, or of the Grand Lama, that is Buddhism. And for this plain reason that the case assumes that we are a Christian people, and the morality of the country is deeply engrafted upon Christianity and not upon the doctrines of worship of those impostors. Isn't that an amazing ruling affirmed by the United States Supreme Court? Not only to say that this nation is engrafted upon the principles of Christianity, but other non-Christian religions, Islam, Buddhism, are impostor religions.
The real object of the First Amendment was not to countenance, much less to advance Mohammedanism or Judaism or infidelity by prostrating Christianity, but to exclude all rivalry among Christian sects, prevent any national ecclesiastical establishment. The Religion Clause prohibits an establishment of a particular form of Christianity. The Christian religion is the established religion. All sects and denominations of Christians are placed upon the same equal footing and are equally entitled to protection in their religious liberty. All men have an equal, natural, and unalienable right to the free exercise of religion according to the dictates of conscience. No particular sect or society of Christians ought to be favored or established by law in preference to others. Should not the Bible regain the place it once held as a school book? Its morals are pure, its examples captivating and noble. The reverence for the sacred book that is thus early impressed lasts long. The Bible will justly remain the standard of language as well as of faith.